Fernandez, the woman who wanted to pretend that because a man was at the gym and looked in her direction, that he was objectionalizing her. Now, much like Miss Fernandez, Chloe Roma likes to dress sexually provocatively to make money. This is called a sex worker. Chloe Roma is a sex worker. That's the politically correct term in the United States. It's not illegal to be a sex worker. It's illegal to be a prostitute. Big difference. However, Miss Fernandez did it for money and attention. Why is Chloe Roma doing it? For money and attention. Now, half the guys that are on there are not the kind of guys that you want to date. Most of the stuff that you hate me saying came from the guys who are followers of her on her page. She's a fake. And she gives shitty advice. Any woman who's going to tell you it's about confidence is lying to you. Any man who tells you it's about confidence is lying to you. Do you know what confidence comes from? Experience. One man asked her, he said, "How can I be not attracted to toxic women?" And she said, "Well, first you have to get rid of the toxicity in yourself." No, he doesn't. First of all, that's not enough information to get any fucking advice from. That dipshit should have known better. What does that amount to? Victim shaming and victim blaming. Here's the thing. Natalie Bollinger absolutely was a victim, but she wasn't a victim of mine. I was a victim of hers. But nobody cared. Chloe Roma, she's got a bunch of guys on there just feeding her fucking ego. That's all this is to her, a fucking ego trip. It's about making money and feeding her goddamn ego. She happened to have found a niche. Unfortunately, she's not fighting for our rights. She's playing a narrative. This speaks to the people she wants attention from. She specifically wants attention from men. But she also is constantly downplaying abuse against men while she talks about all this shit on her channel and how wrong it is to treat a man a certain way. She literally treats men on her channel that way. So where is she fighting for our rights? I used to be thankful that Chloe Roma existed. Because us as men, we are constantly being bombarded and literally being forced to help women who don't deserve our help. Constantly being pressured, harassed, and even intimidated to help women who do not deserve our help. We do not owe it to a junkie to harm the people that she is predatory towards. We do not owe it to her. People did not owe it to Natalie Bollinger, Alicia Bollinger, or Maddie Boa to harm me without judge or jury. But what does Chloe Roma care about? Selling merch. Selling merchandise. That's it. There's another guy, TAW, the Autism World, or the Aspie World. My apologies. That's another YouTube channel. That's another sellout, only after merch. Wanting to sell his merch. It's got nothing to do with right or wrong. What the hell? Oh, this guy. The thing is, Chloe Roma is doing exactly the same thing as that lady who went to the gym and wanted to play like she was victimized sexually because a man glanced her direction. Now we've got women that want to complain that men won't help them for free no more. They want to complain that they go to the gym and they're about to injure themselves with weights. And they ask for help, and they still don't get the help from men. Why is that? Because we don't want to get in fucking trouble. If you want to go to the gym without being treated like you're a fucking predator by women, you have to poke your eyeballs out. Now, Chloe Roma has done some of the most disgusting things. Things that she claims are wrong, that women do these things to men, and then she literally does them. How is that okay? How is that fighting for our rights? No, what you're doing is you're fucking playing to a fucking peanut gallery. She has no vested interest in our rights. And obviously, the advice that she gives is man-shaming and man-blaming. While she's pretending to be fighting for our rights, she is shaming and blaming men. She is asking for men to be harmed or fucking killed without trial. You're goddamn right I speak up. Someone has to. Alright, I got half a cigarette in here. I don't have to smoke that. No, I smoked my fucking cigarette already. God damn. It's either go back inside for a cigarette or smoke one of these here butts or smoke out of the tobacco pipe or just be patient. I think I'm going to smoke a butt. I used to post up about Chloe Roma and how grateful and thankful that I was that she existed. Then I ended up with 3 of her viewers showing themselves to be the most disturbing and fucked up individuals when it comes to women. Like, you say all that shit about women, and then you wonder why you don't have a woman. You're a misogynistic fucking pig, Doug Thunder. That's right, that's what the guy goes by, Doug Thunder. I've seen the guy. He's not good looking. He's overweight. He's not well kept. He's got glasses. He's probably about my age or older. No, he's not physically attractive, and confidence isn't going to do anything for that. See, I've seen a lot of relationships in my life, and what I've noticed is that talking shit about women and making jokes, misogynistic jokes about women, isn't going to get you a girlfriend. No, treating people like shit is what'll get you a girlfriend. Treating people like shit. She may say all of this pretty shit that she's told that she's supposed to say. But she's going to end up with a bad boy, isn't she? She's going to end up with one of your bullies, isn't she? And then you're going to hold that anger and resentment for the rest of your life. I don't hold that anger and resentment. If a woman tells me no, no means no. However, that's not reciprocated, is it? Chloe Roma doesn't expect herself to be held up to the same standards that she wants to hold these other women up to. You know, I wanted to believe when that stuff went down with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, I wanted to believe Chloe Roma. But then I saw how Johnny Depp acted. I saw how his lawyer acted. I saw how Jason Momoa acted. It was a fucking joke to them. And then you guys want to talk about how poor Johnny, he lost his job. Oh, he got it back though, didn't he? After admitting to an entire goddamn jar of cocaine on their table, and Disney's like, oh yeah, this is the guy we want to hire back. Really? And why is it that he wanted to beat around the bush about cutting off his own goddamn finger? It's a good question, too. The fact is, Chloe Roma does the same thing that the rest of you do. Searches for popularity, entertainment, attention, and money. Right or wrong doesn't even enter into it or occur to her at any point in time. She's not a man. She has no vested interest in this. And when she says how wrong it is for these other women, these sexist women who want to blame everything on men, including male victims, it's kind of like black people want to blame white people for police brutality. Even white victims of police brutality. The thing is that she sells the same narrative when she's talking to these people as she is speaking out against in her 1-minute clips. She dehumanizes them and then claims that she is fighting for their rights. No, you're not fighting at all. You are not fighting. You're attempting to destroy men's lives, to give them false hope, to pretend to be a men's rights advocate. But then you want to blame men, and you want to do things that show that you, a Canadian woman, have been trained and taught the same way as American women. This is not okay. Women should be held equally accountable. You want equal pay? Equal accountability. You want to tell men that they can't have a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition calendar in their cubicle. But you can post up pictures of babies that say, so many men, so little aspirin, all over the office. You should ask the men who worked at Cabela's corporate offices in Sydney, Nebraska, how many of those signs there were across the building. There were probably hundreds. They were all over the place. In the main walk areas, on the outside of the cubicles, so that men walk by that and they get to see that sexism every goddamn day. Sexism is allowed in the workplace, as long as it's a woman being the sexist. Chloe Roma basically ignored any real issues. You have to pay for her to answer a question. Or you have to tell her that you love her tattoos or you think she's pretty. And she wants to talk about how beautiful she is, just like that Fernandez lady wanted to talk about how attractive she is. That guy wasn't worried about getting laid. He was worried about his safety, her safety, and the safety of anyone around those fucking weights. If you don't know what the fuck you're doing, people are gonna look at you funny. If you're out there with a fucking pair of pliers trying to take the lug nuts off of your tire so that you can change it, people are gonna fucking look at you funny. Oh yeah, and you're probably not gonna get your fucking lug nuts off with a pair of fucking pliers. You're not gonna have the grip to keep them around the fucking nut to begin with. So yeah, there's an analogy right there that most of you are probably going to go out of your way to completely avoid and ignore. Go out of your way not to understand. You know, there's two types of people on my channel. There's the supporters. No, there's no supporters on my channel. There's empty words. Sure, you said it, but did you meant it? When it comes to Chloe Roma, the longer this goes along, the more disgusted I am with her. Maybe at the beginning it was about men's rights, but now it's about merch. Maybe at the beginning, the Aspie world was about fighting for our rights, but now it's about merch. It's kind of like, if y'all pay attention to rap in the 90s, nobody was going to listen to you unless you had beef. In your first album, you had to sing about how hard you are, how tough you are, how you grew up in a shitty situation, how all you ever wanted to do is get up and out, up and out, up and out. And then you make your money and you spend it on bitches and hoes and Cristal. What's your next album about? Bitches and hoes and Cristal. Huh. I ain't never gonna forget where I came from. You forgot before you even started recording the second album, son. Who you trying to fool? Ain't no real motherfuckers left. You done killed them all. Well, except for me. 'Cause I ain't worth listening to. I ain't the right color. I ain't the right gender. I ain't got the right amount of money in my pocket for you to give a shit. I don't go talking about all the bitches and hoes I be fucking 'cause I'm nastified. Nastified by the thought of sex. Y'all have made sex such a gross and disgusting thing to me since I was a child that I'm not fucking interested. You know why I don't ask out women? 'Cause I ain't interested in having sex with them. And that's a good point, too. Don't ask a woman out if you're not willing to have sex with her. If you're willing to have sex with her, then try. If she says no, you leave and you ignore her. You pretend she doesn't exist. Ain't nothing good gonna come of that after. And don't stick around in the friend zone hoping you're gonna get an opportunity. You're a dumbass. She don't give a fuck about you or you wouldn't be in the friend zone. Between his dick and your friendship, she's gonna pick his dick every time. Women get horny too, dumbass. Now, if you're a fat, slovenly fucking animal and you want to complain that you can't get a girlfriend, is there something that you can do about your weight other than complain about it and eat yourself to death? Absolutely there is. Absolutely there is something that you can do to not be fat. Now, when it comes to health concerns, if you're bald, that's superficial. If you're a behemoth, there is nothing superficial about that. That's not just a health risk for you. That's a health risk for anybody who gets into bed with you. How many women in the United States have rolled on top of their husband and smothered him in his sleep just because they were fat? How many women worldwide have woken up to a dead husband? Don't even know why he's dead. Turns out he died of asphyxiation. Now, what does that come from? Some of these women get charged. If you're 98 pounds and your husband suffocates to death, you probably smothered him. That's a common way to do it. Get your husband so fucked up. One of the ways is if he's on pills, you just slip him a few extra. He must not have been paying attention. It was an accident. He just went to sleep and didn't wake up. The reality is, he couldn't move. He couldn't wake up. And then you put a pillow over his face. Now, the fat woman, she don't get that opportunity. She doesn't even realize she smothered him to death. Might not even realize he was underneath her at any point in the night. Same thing with a man. We got fat men who have done the same thing to their wives. Nope, that ain't gonna work. I get on and I speak up. I speak up about the actual situations, the actual victims, the actual predators. Not just the popular trending ones. Why do I bring up the popular trending ones? To show you how differently we're treated. How differently I am treated from Johnny Depp. How differently I am treated from Chloe Roma. How differently I am treated from Miss Fernandez. Look at how differently I am treated from the Kardashians, or Will Smith, or Jada Pinkett. As an autistic adult, the Aspie world obviously is no longer a venue that's going to do anything for us as autistic people. Now it's about merch, it's about traveling, it's about speaking, it's about money, 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 just like Chloe Roma, just like Miss Fernandez. Meanwhile, we had some good folks who spoke up well. People like Anna Moomin. But she was harassed until she quit. She was one of our greatest voices because of her looks. You guys can go back and look through Natalie Bollinger's last public post. You can look in the comments. You can see the horrible, horrible things that I've had to deal with. The people that I've had to deal with. The fact that they have made promises and told me things that should have been in court. Instead, they're on YouTube and Facebook. Why is that? Because they never helped me to turn those things into the courts or to the police. I had to record them and post them up on YouTube because I can't go to the police or the courts alone. I am not going to let these predators go. When you tell me to let it go, what you are telling me to do is to allow my predators to harm more people, to allow these predators to harm more people. My predators have access to harm me whenever they want. And it's magically okay because, well, there is nobody actually fighting for our rights. Chloe Rome is so full of shit, her eyes are brown. By the way, she is not attractive. I do not find her attractive in the least bit. I get why there's lots of people who find her attractive. I do understand that. I get that those tattoos make him go, "Ooh, she's a bad girl. She probably sucked a mean..." You know where that one goes. Here's the thing. If you are hanging around and being in the friend zone, knowing she ain't interested in you, you're doing something stupid and you're doing something wrong. She is on her own. You treat her the way that you would treat a man. If you would not help a man in that situation, do not help a woman in that situation. That's sexist. Fuck it. I don't need... I don't need a cigarette bad enough to choke myself to death on a fucking pipe. It's too harsh. And it's a piece of shit pipe. So, I get ashes in my throat and tobacco in my throat. None of that has anything to do with this video, though, does it? I'm disgusted by a lot of you. But the ones I'm most disgusted by are the ones who pretend that they're trying to help us. Really, how? If you really tried to help, you speak up to the public. You speak up to the courts, and you speak up to the police. You save the evidence. If you want to pretend like I'm a bad person who slandered your name because I repeated what the police said, perhaps you should take that up with the police who fucking slandered you and me. You want to claim that it's slander? It came directly from the police. Much of that is in my police. It's in paperwork that I personally have. Slander against Kayla Trujillo. Slander against Alyssa Rainwater and her mother, Mandy Hughes, by the police. And my public pretenders allowed it. They repeatedly did not show up to court, repeatedly lied to me, and assisted my predators in getting away with the crimes that they committed, because these people didn't want to do their jobs. They get paid whether they do their job or not. It's unfortunate that a public pretender's job is to see to it that the victim is bullied into submission or suicide. If you are suicidal. Obviously, you've been bullied for a while. You've been through hell for a while and you've had to do it alone. You're stuck in the social isolation issue. I'm trying to get help for y'all. Actual help so that we can turn in our predators when it happens and not have to be afraid of being victimized by police. There's a lot of people that won't be happy no matter what. We all know that BLM is not going to speak up and say thank you to the 600,000 white Northerners who gave up their lives in the Civil War. Is there a John Brown Day? John Brown laid down his life. Those were the true opening shots of the Civil War. Harper's Ferry. Look it up. How about those 600 white mothers? That's right, white women who marched in front of those BLM protesters. Why? So that if the police were going to shoot some black people, they'd have to shoot some white women too. And people would be real pissed off about that. The numbers show that police choose to murder males in specific. 96% of those murdered by the police every year in the United States are males. Imagine the surprise on my face when I saw that. It shows gender bias. Of course, the most likely people from any group to be killed by the police are the people from those groups that are homeless, because those groups will no longer accept you when you're homeless. Does BLM give a shit about the black people on the streets who are being murdered by police? That's the majority of the numbers they have to claim. The majority of the black people killed by police were homeless. The majority of the white people killed by police were homeless. The majority of the Hispanic people killed by police were homeless. And the homeless are one of the smallest populations in our country. You talk about how few black people there are. In 2019, there were 500,000 homeless people, and they accounted for 49% of those killed by police. Black people accounted for 60 million people. That's 120 times the population size of homeless people, and they only accounted for 22% of those killed by police. BLM is a racist hate group that is helping to destroy this country in the same way as the KKK. BLM wants just rights just for them, not for the victims. They don't want rights introduced so that these laws that are already in place have teeth, so that if police do these things to them, that there are actual consequences. No, BLM is pushing for special rights just for colored people. That is racist. Us whites have to take the back of the bus every time, don't we? It's our fault because we're privileged when we're assaulted by the police, aren't we? We're privileged when we're forced into homelessness, aren't we? We're privileged when we are sexually assaulted in the prisons, aren't we? Because we're white, we're privileged when people do these things to us, aren't we? It's okay for the cops to assault me because I have white privilege. It's okay for public pretenders not to show up for court or for our appointments because I have white privilege. It's okay for Whale and Lolatai to assault me because I have white privilege. It's okay for me to be denied the body camera evidence because I have white privilege. It's okay that they slandered my name repeatedly to the public and continue to do so to this day because I have white privilege. I have male privilege, so I must be earning $49,000 a year, huh? I have male privilege, so I must be twice as strong as every woman out there according to what? That's the narrative every woman wants to sell to us, isn't it? When we're abused. Oh, well, men are twice as strong as women. Really? Really? Desiree could bench press me. If I got into a fight with Desiree, she'd kill me on accident. Tabitha Michelle Cook is a huge woman. She could kill me on accident, too. You want to hate on me because I have a penis? That penis doesn't give me that $49,000 a year you want to pretend I get. That penis doesn't change your bias. It doesn't help me to turn in the crimes against me when they happen. Your hatred of the homeless, of the disabled, of men, it shines through. You know how we end these videos. Look up the name Jessica Fernandez. Weightlifting. Look up Roma Army. Men's rights. Or Chloe Roma, if you choose. She speaks good. She speaks nice. She speaks bullshit. What can I expect out of a Canadian? Alright, world, what are Canadians known for? Being people pleasers. Kissing each other's asses. Oh, I'm sorry I rear-ended you. Oh, it's my fault. I backed into you. That's Canadian. Oh no, it's my fault. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you talk to babies that way. You talk to dogs that way. You talk to that kitty cat that you accidentally stepped on its tail that way. When people are being racist and hating on Mexicans, I pretend I hate Canadians. Why would you hate Canadians? They're so nice. That's kind of the point, dude. You really think every Canadian is nice? You think Cora Bowers of Nova Scotia is nice? No, this is a fucking mentally fucked up twat waffle who thinks it's okay to threaten to kill innocent people. You're out of your fucking mind. Anyway, good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's keeper. And no victim left behind. No matter what Chloe Roma says.